Hello everyone, welcome to week 11 video recorded lecture. I hope you're all doing well wherever you are. So today we are covering knowledge management and collaborative systems. Before we start with the content, I would like to remind you that although this is a pre-recorded video lecture, I'm here to support you in your learning journey. So don't hesitate to reach out if you've got any questions or you need clarification. So let's get started. In this lecture, we are going to study two major IT initiatives related to decision support. They are information technology in knowledge management and group decision support systems. And for that, we also need to cover some definitions related to those initiatives. Let's start this lecture looking at the vignette available on the textbook. The vignette is about an expertise transfer system to train future Army personnel. Many organizations do struggle with implementing knowledge management systems like lesson learned capabilities. And this is because these systems often fail to achieve their main goal of promoting knowledge sharing and reuse. These knowledge management systems aim to capture, organize, and present valuable expertise within an organization. However, those systems, they tend to fail short due to two primary reasons. First, they don't represent the knowledge properly. And two, they aren't well integrated into the organization's decision-making process. And this is a struggle for many companies. To address this issue, the expertise transfer system, whose illustration you see in this slide, was created by the Spear School of Business at Oklahoma State University. The ETS expertise transfer system was designed for the Defense Ammunition Center in Oklahoma, specifically for Army ammunition related careers. And this system, ETS, captures knowledge from experienced individuals leaving the Army. For example, retirees and also those recently deployed in the field. And here's how ETS works. So you can see that looking at the illustration. So it starts with an audio or video interview between an interviewee and a knowledge engineer. Recall that we covered knowledge engineer in the previous lecture. This interview usually lasts 6 to 90 minutes. And knowledge engineers, so those trained by the Oklahoma State University College of Education, use effective techniques to extract valuable information from interviewees and ensure the audio or video quality is good. Because remember, garbage in, garbage out. So this information needs to be of quality. Once the interviews are recorded, the ETS process really begins. the digital audio video files are then converted into text, which was done by human describers back in the days. Now they use voice recognition technology. So these transcriptions are then broken down into small and useful units of knowledge, which are called knowledge nuggets. And what a knowledge nugget essentially is a significant experience shared by the interviewee from their career. So these golden knowledge nuggets are then integrated into the expertise transfer system and enhanced to make them easy to find, user-friendly, and effective for educational purpose. So this is just a brief example, simple example of how knowledge can be integrated into a system so that it can be used in the decision-making process of organizations. But stepping back a little bit, we are talking about knowledge management systems, but what is knowledge management? Knowledge management involves actively identifying, collecting, organizing, and utilizing the wealth of knowledge within an organization. And this knowledge can include a wide range of information, from explicit data and documents to tacit knowledge that is available within employees' experiences and expertise. Organizations can engage in various activities to collect together knowledge from different sources. And those sources could be employees, documents, databases, and also external resources. This collected gathered knowledge forms the foundation for informed decision making and also the foundation for innovation and problem solving. Knowledge is often organized into categories or taxonomies to make it easily accessible and retrievable. By organizing, by categorizing knowledge, businesses can create a structured framework for their information, which then enables efficient utilization of this utilization and retrieval of this knowledge. Once knowledge is collected and organized, which are not easy tasks, the next step is to ensure that knowledge is available and accessible to those who really need it. And this can involve creating knowledge sharing platforms, training programs, and communication channels that facilitate the distribution of knowledge throughout the organization. Knowledge, because we know knowledge is power. Intellectual capital, on the other hand, represents the intangible, valuable knowledge that is available within an organization's employees. So intellectual capital really goes beyond those tangible assets like machinery and rooms and buildings, and it really includes the collective knowledge, and also skills, expertise, and experiences of the workforce. Um, One component, an important component of intellectual capital is human capital. And human capital refers to the knowledge, skills, and capabilities that the employees have. Uh, and this includes their individual expertise, education, training, and their ability to innovate and solve problems. Um, Intellectual capital also includes structural capital. Uh, and structural capital consists of the organization's processes, systems, and intellectual property. Um, it so structural capital really includes the methods and procedures that enable an organization to function, to work efficiently, and the use the intellectual property it has developed, such as patents, trademarks, and property technologies. Another component of intellectual capital is, and you can see in the slide, is relational capital. And this relational capital refers to the organization, external relationships, and networks. These relationships with customers, or with external relationships, or relationships with customers, suppliers, partners, and other stakeholders do contribute to the organization's value, knowledge, and value. So those are the three components of intellectual capital. All of them are very important: human capital, structural capital, and relational capital. And yeah, we talked about knowledge management system, knowledge management, so a lot of concepts you covered, and now we need to understand what knowledge is, without getting too philosophical, right? Because that doesn't work for us, for analytical people. Knowledge is more than just data or information. It is information that is given context and is relevant to a specific purpose or a situation. It's what is not. It is not a simple collection of facts, but information that can be applied effectively to solve problems, and also make decisions or take actions. Knowledge involves a deeper level of understanding, awareness, or familiarity. So you can see that it's not only about having information, it's about comprehending that information and being aware of its implications and importance. Knowledge can be obtained, be acquired through various means, such as learning from textbooks and courses, like what you're doing, perceiving information through observation, and discovering new insights through research or experimentation. Um, also, inferring conclusions from available data and understanding complex concepts and relationships. Knowledge becomes actionable when it can be used to drive actions and to drive behaviors. Um, so knowledge has a practical value that can be applied to achieve specific goals within an organization. The figure on this slides shows that knowledge is very distinct from data and information. Just to illustrate what I mentioned in the previous slide, knowledge is not data, knowledge is not information. Data are facts, data are measurements, data are statistics. Information is organized or processed data that is timely and accurate. So you have data, you process the data to get information that might or might not be relevant. So you can rank data, you can sort data through, you can process data, and if it's relevant and if it's able to be used, it's knowledge. And we've got wisdom on the end, but knowledge may not imply wisdom. It may just be expertise. What are some of the characteristics of knowledge? Knowledge possesses a unique characteristic of generating extraordinary leverage and increasing returns. Unlike physical resources that might deplete with use, knowledge tends to grow and become more valuable when shared and applied. That's why we say knowledge is power. When knowledge is leveraged efficiently, effectively, it can really lead to significant innovation and value creation. And remember that companies are always trying to create more value. And this leads to exponential growth. Knowledge can be fragmented and also scattered across an organization. So fragmented, what do I mean by that? Knowledge may exist in different formats and also in different locations and within the minds of different individuals. Leakage here means that knowledge can leak or become outdated over time, right? So if I don't continue to study or continue to apply the things that I know, I won't have the knowledge that I've got now in 20, 30, 40 plus years. So there's leakage. So continuous efforts are necessary to refresh and update knowledge to ensure its relevance and accuracy. So that's why many of you who work in the industry are here doing a master, because you want to refresh and update your knowledge, because that's necessary. The value of knowledge is often uncertain, particularly in the when there is a lack, when there is absence of clear metrics for measuring the impact of knowledge. But knowledge can prove invaluable when applied strategically to solve problems or exploit opportunities. So knowledge is hard to estimate the value of knowledge, but at the same time, knowledge is really invaluable. It has a really big value for a value for companies. Sharing knowledge can be a double-edged sword. Why that is? Because while sharing knowledge can potentially lead to collaborative innovation and problem solving, it also raises concerns about intellectual property protection and the risk of sharing proprietary information with competitors. And companies don't want that. This uncertainty in the value of sharing knowledge requires organizations to strike a balance between openness and protecting, safeguarding their intellectual assets. And the last bullet point, knowledge-based economy. The concept of knowledge-based economy represents a significant economy shift from the traditional economies based on the exploitation of natural resources, such as agriculture or mining, to an economy that gains its primary value from intellectual assets and information. In a knowledge-based economy, the key drivers of economic growth are intangible assets like intellectual property, like technology, innovation, and also human capital. These assets become central to a nation's economy prosperity, and investment in education, research and development, R&D, and information technology is crucial for the nation's economic prosperity growth. One thing interesting when I was thinking about knowledge-based economy is that for academics, our currency is publication. So the number of publications you've got is really important. And I remember that when I checked when I was doing my PhD in Germany, not many academics had papers published in journals, in international journals, because in those journals you have to publish in English. And I was told, I have been told many times while I lived there, I was explained the reason for that. And it's because Germans, they publish more in German papers, in German journals, because they don't want their knowledge to be available to other countries. So they do because these kind of assets, so intellectual property, is valued in a knowledge-based economy. Germany understands that the knowledge created within the country shouldn't be available to other countries, because other countries are competitors, right? And so knowledge-based economies thrive on information and knowledge flows. And they often prioritize industries like information technology, biotechnology, research and development, and education. And education in Germany is free. the transition to a knowledge-based economy has been accelerated by advances in technology. And I can see that in Brazil, the country where I'm from, country is trying to change that, to transition to a knowledge-based economy, and is putting a lot of emphasis on degrees that are related to information technology. And this advances in technology have made it easier to share, access, and leverage knowledge on a global scale. So all countries can benefit from that. I've mentioned a couple of slides ago that knowledge is usually categorized. And then what are the types of knowledge? Knowledge is usually categorized, classified into two types, explicit and tacit knowledge. Explicit knowledge is like facts and data, and it is clear, rational, and can be written down, like policies, documents, and procedures, etc. Whereas tacit knowledge is more personal and based on experiences. It is also based on skills and understanding. It is hard, so tacit knowledge is hard to write down because it is often in people's heads or hidden in how a group works together. Explicit knowledge include things like, as I mentioned before, policies, so company policies and strategies that, because they can be easily written down, they can also be easily shared. Tacit knowledge, on the other hand, is the know-how and insights that are harder to describe or write down, and they are harder to share. The ways that tacit knowledge can be shared are through conversations, trainings, and social interactions. When people leave an organization, they take their knowledge with them, which can be a problem for companies. So again, we go back to knowledge management systems because they try to use modern technology to organize and share both explicit and tacit knowledge. So these systems help organizations adapt to change, keep their workforce informed, and maintain good customer service. So let's watch a video about this.
Hi, Gary here. OX on, OX off. Now you might recognize that that was Pat Morita, who played the sensei to Ralph Macchio, who is Daniel, known as Daniel-san, in the 1984 movie Karate Kid. Probably remember that. It's kind of an often term out there. What does that mean, wax on, wax off? Well, at one level, it's what we would call tacit knowledge. Now, tacit knowledge is learned by doing, by experience, through teaching and coaching. It's difficult to transfer by writing it down or verbalizing it, as opposed to explicit knowledge. It can be written down, transmitted, and understood. There's a gentleman, Michael Polanyi, who's Hungarian, polymath, so physical chemistry, economics, and philosophy, who came up with this term, we believe, in the 60s, called tacit knowledge. And what's important about tacit knowledge is we don't realize, like riding a bike or knitting a sweater or karate is not something that you can just read in a book and do. It's something that requires something above and beyond us than the normal oral, traditional written word to be able to do that. So it's interesting that when we look at this in the money world, for instance, one of the very important pieces of tacit knowledge is to save first and spend second. Now, it sounds pretty simple when I say that, but there's so much depth to what that does for somebody's state of mind, how they operate, and what happens in their future, and how successful they are relative to the way our society operates around money. And understanding that requires folks to really get into the tacit knowledge of money and how money operates within our lives in lots of different ways. So there's a lot of teachers and mentors and other people show up. Also, we learn by the School of Hard Knocks by doing. And hopefully along the way, someone is there to help us to translate that and get into that whole area of tacit knowledge. Now, what we're seeing happening in the world is, if you think of Peter Drucker, he was the great 20th century management consultant. That century was about consulting. This century, if we use the same analogy, is really about coaching. The coaching is really tacit knowledge. Consulting tends to be more explicit and some tacit, and it's basically being commoditized bit by bit by bit as we go along. So when we look out at the different businesses out there people are engaged in, we look at folks who are doing coaching versus telling, selling, or consulting, and recognizing those things are being gone away with. Anything that's predictable, that you can systematize, is going to go away. However, you can't AI tacit knowledge. It's just not something that's easily done, because it's not something that someone could put into code and then teach a computer about that very easily. So when you're looking going forward yourself, be it in business where you're heading, or be it in your own development in yourself, recognize that the place where computers and technology will not commoditize or change dramatically is this whole tacit knowledge arena, versus tons of explicit knowledge out there on how to do all sorts of stuff. I mean, you can go on YouTube and do videos on everything from grilling a steak to, assembling a car on your own, whatever it happens to be. But those are all explicit knowledge. The tacit knowledge is a much different thing. And in fact, this video, the way that I'm going through this with you, is trying to help you get that same meaning. I'm going to end with something that Pat Morita said in the movie The Karate Kid, because I thought it was really good, and it kind of explains the whole thing. And you probably remember this line. It goes like this: better learn balance. Balance is key. Balance good. Karate good. Everything good. Balance bad? Better pack up, go home. Understand? You get the point. That's what he placed to Daniel Son as he was teaching him about karate, but more importantly, about life and tacit knowledge. So until next time, enjoy.
A work published in 2001 by Alavi and Leibniz was this work was really important in the field of knowledge management, mainly because they offered a taxonomy that went beyond the traditional binary classification of knowledge as either explicit or tacit. I think you might remember that I've mentioned a couple of times that academics don't like to agree. And so there's always an academic proposing a new taxonomy, a new classification, etc. So that's one example of that. So these two authors, they proposed this new taxonomy, And by doing that, they recognize that knowledge is a concept and multifaceted concept. And the taxonomy aim to provide a more nuanced understanding of the various types of knowledge that that exist within organizations. So their taxonomy defined an spectrum, which means they identify different points along a continuum of knowledge types. Uh, in other words, what they did was to acknowledge that knowledge can vary in its characteristics and also attributes, rather than simply being categorized as purely explicit or tacit. And this spectrum continuum of knowledge that they proposed included a range of knowledge types. For example, implicit knowledge. So you can see those knowledge types in this table available, presented in this slide. So the knowledge types, some of the knowledge types they proposed are implicit knowledge, embedded knowledge, procedural knowledge, just to highlight a few. And they define those, each one of those, every one of those knowledge types, and gave examples. Yeah, so case when academics disagree, it's good because new things are proposed, but it's also hard because it's hard to get academics to agree. All right, so now it's time to take a break. Pause the video here if we've covered a lot of definitions, so I feel that we might need a break now. That's why I included this slide. So if you think that you can benefit from some rest, pause the video here and then come back when you feel ready. Okay, as you know, I really like to test your knowledge after we have a break, and now is the time. So pause the video here, and I think it's gonna be paused automatically, and see if you can answer those questions. Okay, I really hope you got those questions right. And now we are gonna continue with more definitions. Learning organization. So what is a learning organization? A learning organization is a term that started from the field. It really originated from the field of organizational theory and management. This term describes an organization's capacity to adapt, grow, and improve continually by learning from its past experiences. This concept is based on the idea that organizations, very much like individuals, can learn, change, and develop. And given that, another term is organizational memory. And this term refers to so this term is organizational memory is an essential component of a learning organization. This term refers to the collective knowledge, collective information, and experiences that businesses have and they have obtained, accumulated over time. So it's like we can say that it's like a repository where the organization stores, saves its collective knowledge, and this knowledge consists of not only facts and data, but also tacit knowledge, uh, which is which we know now it is the knowledge that is found in the minds and experiences of an organization's employees. Organizational culture, another term that I would like you to know, refers to the shared values, beliefs, attitudes, customs, and behaviors that are described, that categorize an organization. Some people say that it's the collective, quote unquote, personality of a company. And organizational culture shapes how people within the organization interact, how they make decisions, and how they perceive the world. And organizational culture can be learned, and it is learned through different means, such as observation, socialization, and interaction within the organization. New employees, you can think of when you started at the new job, and how you pick it up on the culture through your interactions with your colleagues, but also observing how leaders, how your manager and co-workers behaved. And organizational culture can be both explicit and implicit. And what I mean by that is that some aspects of culture may be explicitly communicated through documents, workshops, trainings, and official company values. I remember when I started at UON, I had to do a bunch of onboarding training, and those are for their goal is to help new academics, new employees to incorporate and know about the culture of the university. So there is explicit organizational, so a way to explicitly communicate organizational culture, but much of organizational culture is implicit and learned throughout everyday experiences, unwritten rules, and informal interactions. So companies can have like a set of beautiful values, and they are communicated through trainings and official documents, but how people interact might be very different from those values, and this is also organizational, the culture of that organization. And culture typically involves a top-down effort by leadership. So it starts from the top. Uh, and I want to share a video about the importance of organizational culture with you.
So you talk about a lot about the importance of culture in companies, and that's actually something that you consider in charging decisions. Why is it so important? It feels like a rather amorphous phase.
Yeah, look, people should understand that in addition to being the chief federal law enforcement officer in Manhattan and of my office, more than a lawyer, I'm sort of the CEO of my institution. We have 450 employees. I have to make decisions every day about how we allocate our resources, who we promote, what our priorities are, which are more in line with being the head of an institution rather than just being a lawyer. And I think for my office as an institution to succeed and to do well in what its prime mission is, which is not to make widgets, but which is to make sure that justice is done, I have to care about culture a lot. And I think no CEO worth his or her salt would think otherwise. And for us, it is actually required by Justice Department policy to take into account things like the pervasiveness of criminal conduct at a company before you decide to charge a company, to take into account issues of recidivism, to take into account what the compliance policies are. All of those are things that make up the culture of a place. And it turns out that we bring a lot of cases, insider trading cases, accounting fraud cases, Ponzi schemes, public corruption, and some companies have a lot of bad apples and some have fewer. And so my armchair judgment has been, after doing this for 7 years, that there's something about the culture of some places that keeps corruption and misconduct more in check than in other places. And the difference is not necessarily what people get paid. It has to do something with something in the ether of the place and the culture of the place and the leadership that cares about making sure you have a culture of integrity in the place.
We are moving now to approaches to knowledge management. There are basically two approaches, the process approach and the practice approach. The process approach to knowledge management aims to systematize and codified organizational knowledge through the implementation of formalized controls, processes, and technologies. So this approach focuses mainly on making knowledge explicit and accessible throughout the organization to improve efficiency, productivity, and also decision making. This approach often includes, so the process approach often includes the development of knowledge management systems and also the implementation of document management tools and standardized procedures for knowledge sharing. On the other hand, the practice approach to knowledge management focus on creating and nurturing social environments, social communities, you can call it like that, of practice that encourage the sharing of tacit knowledge and so expertise. The primary goal of the practice approach is to facilitate the exchange of tacit knowledge among employees. So you can see that companies spent a lot of deal trying to exchange, share tacit knowledge within the employees. So the practice approach we can say that in simple terms, focuses on tacit knowledge and socialization. And we also have got a hybrid approach to knowledge management. And those approaches, they involve the combination of elements from both the practice and the process approaches. And the aim is to create a balanced and effective knowledge management strategy, because there are pros and cons in both approaches. So companies create hybrid approaches to cherry pick, right? To get the cons of both approaches. Hybrid approaches recognize why they exist, because it is recognized that a complete understanding of knowledge management requires managing both explicit and tacit knowledge, as well as fostering social interactions and formal processes. In a hybrid approach, tacit knowledge can be integrated into the knowledge management system gradually. So there is this belief that tacit knowledge can be integrated into the company's knowledge management system. So the very first phase, the initial phase of a hybrid approach, it focuses on codifying and managing explicit knowledge, so the knowledge that can be written down. So this initial phase may include the development of databases and documentation for explicit knowledge. While the primary focus in this initial stage is on explicit knowledge, the repository can also include contact information about experts and their areas of expertise. So this initial phase is an early step in and also the inclusion of contact information about experts. It's an early step in obtaining tacit knowledge indirectly, because it helps in identifying individuals who possess valuable tacit knowledge. So while this initial phase is being implemented, the organization should promote a culture of collaboration and knowledge sharing. And this can be achieved through the creation of communities of practice. So regular meetings and also mentoring programs and other initiatives that encourage employees to share their tacit knowledge through interactions. So many companies implement that. So regular meetings, communities of practice, and mentoring programs to make sure that tacit knowledge is distributed, is shared within an organization. So what happens is that as employees engage in more social interactions and collaborate within communities of practice, the amount of tacit knowledge shared and captured in the organization's knowledge repository will naturally, organically increase. This process of socialization and knowledge exchange leads to the gradual integration of tacit knowledge into the organization's knowledge management system. So over time, this hybrid approach will evolve towards a more comprehensive process approach. So it starts as a practice, very similar to a practice approach, and then it evolves, it develops into a more comprehensive process approach. And then the organization will have successfully integrated a substantial amount of tacit knowledge into its structured processes. And this structured processes will include expert profiles. It will also include best practices, lessons learned, and other valuable tacit insights. Okay, it's time for another break, and please take advantage of that and rest a little bit before we continue with more content. And as you know, now it's time to test your knowledge. So take this opportunity to see if all the information I provided to you has become knowledge. So information technology, IT in knowledge management. The primary functions of IT within knowledge, I tend to combine knowledge management are retrieval and communication. So IT impacts the scope and pace of knowledge utilization, which enhances knowledge dissemination. A well-functioning, so a system, knowledge management system, KMS, which is functioning well, will follow a structured 6-step cycle. And the 6 steps are presented in this slide. So this cyclic approach is driven by the dynamic nature of knowledge, because knowledge continually evolves over time. And in an effective knowledge management system, knowledge remains a working process. So it creating this ever-changing environment. The first step in the cycle is, in the KMS cycle, is creation of knowledge. So here in this step, knowledge is created as individuals innovate and create new methods or accumulate expertise and gain more expertise. Sometimes here external knowledge is also integrated into the process, and some of these fresh insights may evolve into best practices. And then we move to the second step, the knowledge capture. newly generated knowledge must be identified and then represented in a coherent manner. This is what all this step is about. Then we move to the third step. Yeah, I'm saying steps here following this, but I want you to really think of this as a loop. So the third step is refinement of knowledge. In this step, fresh knowledge is placed within a contextual framework, which makes it actionable. Then we have knowledge storage, where valuable knowledge is stored in a logical format within a knowledge repository. And this is done to make the knowledge accessible to other members of the organization, to within an organization. After that, we have knowledge management. And in this step, similarly to maintaining a library, the repository where knowledge is saved, this repository must undergo periodic reviews to ensure that it remains relevant and accurate. And then we have knowledge dissemination. And here, in this step, knowledge is presented in a user-friendly format and made accessible to anyone within the organization who needs it, anytime and anywhere. The knowledge management systems, knowledge management systems are developed using three sets of technologies: communication, collaboration, and storage and retrieval. Let's look at each one of these. So starting with communication. Effective communication, as you might tell, from everything you've seen so far, effective communication is essential for knowledge sharing, collaboration, and coordination within an organization. Communication technologies within a knowledge management system facilitate the exchange of information and knowledge among teams, among employees. So these communication technologies help ensure that information and knowledge flow smoothly between employees, really promoting a culture of collaboration and learning. And examples of communication technologies are tools for messaging, video conferencing, emails, and other real-time or asynchronous communication methods. These technologies enable people to work together on projects, share documents, and collectively solve problems. These technologies may include project management software, collaborative document editing tools, and virtual workspaces. Okay, collaboration tools. Collaboration tools are crucial for teams to collectively contribute to knowledge creation, review, and refinement. And storage and retrieval technologies involve the systematic storage of knowledge assets in a structured repository or database. Users can search, access, and retrieve specific pieces of information or knowledge as needed. And an organized system for storing and retrieving knowledge ensures that valuable information is readily available, which prevents knowledge loss and encourages knowledge reuse. Some of the supporting technologies for knowledge management are presented in this slide. So AI, artificial intelligence, intelligent agents, and knowledge discovery in databases, and Web 2.0. AI augments knowledge management by making sense of vast quantities of data, and also by identifying patterns and aiding in the discovery of hidden insights within the knowledge repository. Intelligent agents, on the other hand, are software programs that can perform tasks autonomously, or also assist users in various activities. So these agents can help in filtering and delivering relevant information to users based on their preferences and needs. They can assist in sorting and prioritizing information, and so increasing the efficiency of knowledge retrieval. Web 2.0 technologies, which include blogs, wikis, and social networking platforms, if these technologies are used correctly, they can foster a collaborative environment that promotes knowledge sharing, encourages discussions, and supports the co-creation of knowledge among employees. And yeah, so to recap some of the concepts covered so far, and also learn a few new things, let's have a listen to this video.
When I started out in my first IT job, I met a guy, let's call him Bob. Bob knew everything. If you wanted to know how our 30-year-old billing system worked, you called Bob. Network down? Bob could get you running again. Where the stash of the good coffee was kept? See Bob. And then, not 1 month into my employment, Bob sent out a company-wide email informing us of his imminent retirement. And no joke, this caused management some major worries, and Bob spent his last few weeks furiously documenting everything he knew. This is an example of a lack of recorded enterprise knowledge. What we needed all along was a proper knowledge management system. Now, knowledge management helps to not only create organizational memory, but also aids operational efficiencies, increased collaboration, and identification of skill gaps. Let's take a look. So knowledge management is the process of identifying, organizing, storing, and disseminating information within an organization. When knowledge is not easily accessible, it can be incredibly costly to a business. So where should this knowledge be harvested and stored? Well, in something called a KMS, or Knowledge Management System, supported by a knowledge base. But, well, what is knowledge? We can broadly define it into three types: tactic, implicit, and explicit. So tactic knowledge is typically acquired through, well, experience, and it is intuitively understood. So, for example, leadership skills or recognizing facial expressions. Tactic knowledge is difficult to codify, and it's difficult to write down. There's also implicit knowledge, and implicit knowledge is kind of the know-how knowledge that has not been written down or recorded yet, but this is the stuff that was in Bob's head. While this type of knowledge may not be initially obvious, it can be captured with the right tools and with the right processes. And unlike tactic knowledge, implicit knowledge can usually be codified. And then finally, there's explicit knowledge. Information that is captured within various document types, such as manuals and reports and guides. And you'll find explicit knowledge in databases, white papers, and case studies. The goal of knowledge management is to make this valuable enterprise knowledge accessible to anyone who needs it and when they need it. In order to achieve this, businesses need to implement a system for capturing, storing, and disseminating information through the company. An effective knowledge management system typically goes through three main stages. So let's take a look at those. So knowledge, and then stage one is really the knowledge creation. So knowledge creation is where organizations identify and document any existing or new knowledge that they want to circulate across the company, figure out what it is we need to store. Speaking of that, stage two is knowledge storage. And this is the stage that describes where an IT system is used to host organizational knowledge for distribution. Information may need to be formatted in a particular way to meet the requirements of that repository. And then number three, we have knowledge sharing. This is the final stage in which processes to share the knowledge are communicated broadly across the organization. So what knowledge management tools do we have at our disposal? Well, there's a whole bunch. We'll just cover a few of them. And the first of those is a content management system, or a CMS. This is an application which manages web content where end users can edit and publish content. And content here could be document, like an FAQ, or it could be some other form of media, like a piece of audio or a video. That CMS could be hosted on a public website if this is intended for customer consumption, or it could be hosted on an intranet for internal use. Document management systems, or DMS, go beyond the web to act as a centralized storage system for digital documents such as PDFs, images, and word processing files. A great place to store how-to guides or lessons learned documents. And while CMS and DMS systems are typically curated, a data warehouse is something that aggregates data from different data sources into a single, central, consistent data store, often through automated collation. A data warehouse can support data analysis, data mining, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. Data is extracted from these repositories so that companies can derive insights to make data-driven decisions. Now, we've already talked about some benefits of knowledge management, specifically maintaining enterprise knowledge, but there are many reasons to embrace a knowledge management strategy, like, for example, identification of skill gaps. When teams create relevant documentation around implicit or around tactic knowledge, or consolidate explicit knowledge, it can highlight gaps in core competencies across teams. Great information to use when building a training plan or figuring out hiring new resources. Now, knowledge management can also aid in data security. In this case, knowledge management systems enable organizations to customize permissions control or viewership control and a level of document security to ensure that information is shared only in the correct channels or with selected individuals. And if employees know that a knowledge management system is a go-to place to find relevant information, this will also lead to operational efficiencies from faster decision-making and improved productivity. Knowledge management systems can be created by skilled employees and harvested through natural language processing of existing document sources. And when employees are armed with the right tools and strategies, knowledge management practices make it easier to onboard new employees, assist a more productive workforce who know where to look for the answers, and enable customer self-service support portals. Because, well, without one, we're exposed to the risk of losing institutional knowledge when employees are no longer around for us to ask. And look, I know this is a long shot, but Bob, if you are watching, just where did you hide away the good coffee pods? Thanks for watching, and please consider to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, in the comments, let us know about other tech topics you'd like us to cover so we can continue to bring you content that's relevant to you, like, well, some of these videos here.
Okay, so let's talk group work now. What is group work? Group work refers to tasks or projects that carry out collaboratively by two or more people working together towards a common goal. Instead of individuals working independently, they combine their efforts and resources to achieve an objective. Pretty much like you did in assignment 1 and you're gonna do in assignment 2. So a group primary function is to perform a specific task. This task could be anything from solving a complex problem to completing a project. Sorry. Excuse me. And it often requires the collective knowledge and skills of the group members. As you have experience in your group assignment, group members may not necessarily be in the same physical location. And with the advances in technology, and especially after the COVID pandemic, many groups now work together virtually using some sort of online communication and collaboration tools. So group members, they may have different schedules and are in different time zones, and so it is necessary that they can work together, even though they work at they have their own working times. Asynchronous collaboration allows individuals to contribute at their own convenience. As long as everyone is contributing according to the expectations, the work flow can be smoothly. Group members can belong to the same organization, working towards a common corporate objective, but they can also be affiliated with different organizations coming together for a specific project or initiative. I'm currently working on a research project, and this research project, the team consists of academics from UOW, from QUT, and from UON. And time zone is a little bit different in Queensland. If you don't know, they don't do daylight savings, and so yeah, we work on the project in at different times, and we belong to different. We are part of different organizations, and in some cases, groups can be a mix of internal and external members. Groups can also be either permanent or temporary. Permanent groups, often referred to as teams, work together on an ongoing basis, such as in a department within a company. So staff in a department, they are permanent. They would be an example of permanent groups. Temporary groups, on the other hand, they come together for a specific task or project, and the group is set apart once the task is complete. Group can also exist at a single managerial level, which means that all members are at similar positions within the organization. Or they can span several levels of management, with members from various hierarchical positions collaborating on a project or initiative. Group work, why group work, why collaborate? Group work is employed for various reasons, and they do serve several important purposes in both educational and professional settings. And that's why when we do the accreditation for some courses, it is required that there is some sort of group assignment, group work, because it is important to know how to work in groups when you are in a professional setting. Group work can foster a way more comprehensive understanding of a problem, and this is it is so because group work allows members to pool their knowledge and experiences. It also encourages critical thinking and problem solving, as the individuals in a group they share their perspectives and work and have to work collaboratively to find solutions. Group work provides an opportunity to develop a range of essential skills, such as communication skills, teamwork, conflict resolution, and leadership. When tasks are divided among group members, they can often, we can say that, be completed more efficiently and in less time compared to individuals working by themselves, working individually. In a group, individuals can learn from their peers, and this for me is the most important part, sharing knowledge, sharing expertise, and learning from each other. Because when one member has expertise in a particular area, they can teach others, promoting a peer-to-peer learning, right? So we can share our knowledge, share our expertise, and no one knows everything. No one has all the information necessary. And when we work in teams, we can leverage our knowledge and our expertise. Brainstorming and idea generation are often more effective in a group setting. So many reasons why work in a group, why collaborating it's important. So yeah, group work is essential because, as I said, no single person possess all the necessary information and all the resources to solve complex problems, complex challenges, and it is hard. Sometimes it's hard to make decisions, make difficult decisions alone. So group work is really important. Also, so every individual, when we work in groups, we bring our own, our unique life experiences and professional background, and that's why also some companies, they do support multidisciplinary teams, because it's the life experiences and professional backgrounds are very different, and yeah, it's the outcomes can be even better in multidisciplinary teams. And also that's why companies now are very concerned about having diverse teams, because studies have shown in the last years that companies that have diverse management, so people from different cultural backgrounds, from gender diverse teams, those companies they are more innovative, they profit more. So there are many benefits from multidisciplinary, gender diverse teams. So as I mentioned before, knowledge is vast and ever expanding, ever changing. So no one can be an expert in every field. No one can know everything. And that's another reason why working in groups is really beneficial. Some tasks also, some tasks and decisions are very complex, and they involve many factors and variables, and they involve many little subtasks, and we can, when we work in groups, in a group to solve those tasks, we can divide and conquer. This is how I like to say. And yeah, I think it's it's way easier to solve a problem when we work, a complex challenge when we work in groups. And studies also have shown, I forgot to include the references here, that because involving when we involve multiple perspectives and multidisciplinary people, so people with multiple expertise, the quality of decision is improved and potential risks are mitigated. So there is evidence from the academic literature showing that group work, working in groups, can be way more beneficial than individuals working individually. Yeah, group work can be highly beneficial, but there is always a but. It also comes with its share of challenges and difficulties. In this slide here, you can see some of the difficulties in group work. I will highlight just some of them. And I know that you might have experienced some of those difficulties, if not all of them, in your group assignment. The first one I wanted to highlight is miscommunication. Miscommunication can be an issue. Yeah, in any interaction, in any social interaction, miscommunication can be a problem. Because poor communication can lead to misunderstanding and conflict within the group. There are differences in communication styles, also language barriers, and there is sometimes a lack of clarity in messages, and this can all contribute to the problem of miscommunication. In a group, members might have diverse viewpoints and may not always agree, and this can lead to disagreement and conflicts, which, if they are not managed properly, can affect the progress of the work. Another issue, another difficulty, and this is the one that makes me the most, I think, angry, I can put it like that, is free riders. Oh, how much I hate free riders. Yeah, so some group members may not contribute their fair share of the work, so they rely on others to carry the load. And another issue is scheduling, technology, cultural differences, bias, stereotypes. Yeah, the list goes on and on. I could spend a lot of time talking about difficulties associated with group work. So these are important things. Those difficulties are important things that organizations must consider, because we all have to work in groups, work with our team, workmates, and that's why companies, they do want to hire people who are team players. There are ways to, just going back here, there are ways to mitigate these issues and support group work. The goal of various methods, such as the nominal group technique, the Delphi method, and the electronic meeting systems, is to facilitate and to support, enhance group work by increasing its benefits and reducing potential losses. So helping group members to deal with their issues while working together. These methods are often employed in situations where collaboration and decision making within a group are essential, so are really necessary. The primary aim of nominal group technique is to support group work by encouraging the generation of ideas and encouraging also the sharing of insights in a structured and inclusive manner. So the NGT, the acronym for nominal group technique, involves individuals working alone to generate ideas, to generate solutions for a specific problem, and then each participant then shares their ideas, and this is all moderated by a trained facilitator, which guides the whole process. And so this method, NGT, ensures that every group member has an equal opportunity to contribute ideas, making the whole process an inclusive and structured approach to problem solving. So that's why the role of the trained facilitator is really important. This method leads to a group consensus on the most promising, on the potential solutions. The Delphi method, it's a very popular method. Some of you, not all of you, if not a lot of you, might have heard of it. Is also employed to support group work, and here what this method does is to collect knowledge from a group of experts, often with the aiming to achieve consensus on complex or uncertain issues. So the Delphi method is very similar to NGT. However, unlike NGT, in the Delphi method, there's typically no direct face-to-face interaction among the participants in the Delphi method. And electronic meeting systems aims to, so those systems aim to support group work by facilitating virtual meetings, virtual collaboration, which often need technology and software. So I think after the pandemic, we are all very used to EMS. So these systems offer features like real-time collaboration, document sharing, voting, and polling. So examples are Zoom, Microsoft Teams, WebEx. So those are electronic meeting systems. Many computerized tools have been deployed, have been adopted to support and enhance collaborative work within groups, especially now that companies do offer more flexibility to their staff, to their employees, on working from home, with working from home arrangements. And these tools, they fall under the category of groupware. this is a term sometimes used, and they are primarily designed, those tools are primarily designed to facilitate group collaboration. Groupware can serve various purposes. So different people, different groups might use those tools differently, and they can directly or indirectly support decision-making process. The effectiveness of collaborative computing technologies, so tools that support decision-making, really depends on the how scattered the group members are and the timing of information exchange. In a paper, I think published in, I need to check the textbook, but I think it was 1988, again, academics love to introduce new frameworks, new taxonomies, and in this paper, the authors propose a framework for categorizing IT communication support technologies, and this framework can be illustrated using a 4-cell matrix based on time and space. And you can see an illustration of this framework here in this slide. And in each quadrant, you can see an example of a digital support technology. Within this framework, communication can be classified as either synchronous, so real time, or asynchronous. Synchronous communication means involves the almost simultaneous transmission and reception of information, and includes methods like telephone calls, instant messaging, and face-to-face meetings. And on the other hand, asynchronous communication means information reaching the recipient at a different time than when it was sent, as in email exchange. So those are the difference between same time and different time shown in this framework. And these forms of communication can happen between individuals who are in the same place or in different locations. So this the 4 cells in this framework represent the different combinations of time and place. So we've got same time, same place. So in this case, participants, they gather in one location simultaneously. Here we have conventional face-to-face, in-person face-to-face meeting or a decision room. Same time, different place. In this quadrant, we've got, this is when participants are geographically separated, but they engage in real-time communication. So this is often done through video conferencing. And Then we've got different time, same place. Here, individuals, this is when individuals, for example, individuals work in shifts. So they leave information for the next shift in the job floor, for example. And we've got different time and different place. So here, this is when participants are in different locations and they engage in information exchange at different times. And an example here of this case is when team members, they are on the move, and they possess, they have different conflicting schedules, and they operate in different time zones. Okay, again, a lot of content cover, a lot of definitions, and sometimes this can be a little bit too much. So that's why we all need a pause now. So pause the video here and have a break. Have a glass of water. I certainly need a glass of water. I've been talking a lot, and I will see you soon. Okay, so let's see if you can answer this. Let's move now to the last topic we are going to cover in today's lecture: group decision support systems, so sometimes referred to as GDSS. GDSS, what is the definition for those systems? They are interactive computer-based systems designed to facilitate the resolution of problems by a group of decision makers. So sometimes these systems are referred to as specially designed information systems created to enhance collaboration and cooperation among group members when they make decisions. And the beauty of those systems is that they can process and analyze data, which helps group members to understand complex information and help them make data-driven decisions. So they support group work by processing and analyzing data while offering tools to communicate among the group. Some of those systems, they also present data in visually informative ways, so with charts and graphs, and they can also include tools for voting, for polling, and also like ranking based on the preferences of the members of the group. These systems, by doing that, by providing those tools and helping members analyze and process data, they help the decision-making process, and they help quantify group preferences. Some of those systems, they also incorporate decision models and decision algorithms to assist with a structured decision-making process, especially in situations where quantitative analysis is needed. And of course, every system has its pros and cons. So some of the pros of GDSS are parallelism, anonymity, triggering, synergy, structure, and record keeping. So parallelism, what is that? So those systems allow parallelism, which means that group members can contribute simultaneously, and this can accelerate the decision-making process. So it can really reduce the time required to reach a consensus. What is anonymity about? So here, those systems, they can offer a level of, sometimes when necessary, a level of anonymity to participants, especially in online settings. This feature can also promote more open and honest communication between the members of a group, because some individuals might feel that when they can give anonymous opinions, they feel less inhibited to in expressing their views. So this feature of group decision support systems can be very helpful. Triggering ideas. So this means that those systems, they can create, they can promote, they can result in creative thinking and idea generation, because they provide some sort of support to brainstorming sessions and structured processes. Synergy refers to how these systems can foster synergy, because this is relevant when the combined efforts and perspectives of group members lead to outcomes that are more significant and effective than those achieved individually. So when this is already known for problems that are, some problems are known to be solved through group work, so these systems can foster synergy. Structure here means the structured environment for decision making, which can be provided by GDSS. And so those systems can help maintain a focus, clarity, and organization during group discussions. And structure here means that these systems can provide a structured approach, helping in making well-informed choices. And record keeping, it refers to how those systems maintain a record of the decision-making process. So they record the inclusion of ideas, the discussions held, and the final decisions, and this can be beneficial. So these documentations can be really valuable for review, accountability, and even reference in the future if, for example, the company has to deal with the same problem in the future. So yeah, not everything is all butterflies. We also have some cons in GDSS. Some of the cons are free riding and flaming. So free riding, as I mentioned before, So some individuals, they don't contribute their share, and they just contribute minimally. And yeah, the work can be impacted by that. And flaming here refers to the hostile or offensive comments and behaviors that can sometimes rise in a group setting. And this is because the anonymity that GDSS can provide, and this can encourage inappropriate behavior, and it can even undermine the constructive nature of the discussions held in those systems. There are three options, mainly three options for deploying GDSS technology. One as a special purpose decision room, two as a multiple user facility, and three as a internet or intranet based groupware. If you don't know what the decision room is, this is a quite old term, but it's still in use. It is also referred to as sometimes as a war room or a situation room. And what it really is a physical or sometimes even virtual space equipped with specialized technology and tools to support group decision-making activities. So those decision rooms are designed to enhance collaboration and problem solving within a group. And this, some of those hardware and software solutions could be large display screens, interactive white boards, video conferencing systems, and GDSS technology. Decision rooms are used in situations, in scenarios where critical decisions need to be made collaboratively, so in a group. And this includes emergency response situations, business strategy development, project planning, and complex problem solving. Government and I forgot to include this bullet point, government and military organizations do use decision rooms. Financial institutions like banks and investment firms also use decision rooms to monitor markets, also to make investment decisions and respond to market fluctuations. Another example is non-profit organizations such as the Gates Foundation or the World Health Organization, who they do use decision rooms for managing humanitarian efforts and responding to global crises. So another facility for GDSS is multiple use facility. And the definition for this is GDSS that is designed to serve various functions, various purposes within an organization. So it offers a versatile platform for different types of group interactions and decision-making processes. And so multiple use facilities are adaptable and can be changed, can be configured to meet specific requirements. Those facilities, they are employed in organizations for many purposes. And examples of companies that employ such facilities are consulting firms such as McKinsey and Company or Deloitte. Deloitte is very well known. They often use multi-use GDSS to facilitate client meetings, data analysis, and again, collaborative problem solving. Universities can also use multiple use facility for faculty meetings, committee discussions, and also academic planning, so teaching, a workload allocation, for example. And these systems, they aid in curriculum development. They also aid in accreditation process and research collaboration. So the last facility for GDSS are web-based facilities. Web-based GDSS are decision support systems that operate on web platforms. And these systems, they enable groups to collaborate, to make decisions, and share information online, often in real time. So they are adopted, they are used by organizations which have geographically dispersed teams. That's why they have been more and more adopted after the pandemic. And they provide flexible and accessible decision-making platform. They can be used in a wide range of collaborative activities, such as virtual meetings, remote project management, and online workshops. Every company nowadays uses a web-based GDSS. It could be Slack, it could be Trello, Asana. I have used Asana in one of my research projects. So yeah, they are very similar with different little things. Yeah, so the list of options is gigantic. Very few organizations use decision rooms. Can you think of why? Why decision rooms are adopted by few organizations nowadays? Pause the video here and have a think about that. Yeah, first reason is high cost. As you can imagine, setting up and maintaining a decision room can be very expensive. It requires investment not only in specialized technology, but also infrastructure and facility design. Second reason, need for a trained facilitator. Decision rooms, they do require a trained facilitator who can manage the technology, guide discussions, and ensure the decision-making process runs smoothly. So finding and retaining a skilled facilitator can be a challenge for some organizations. And sometimes a facilitator is not needed very often. So why should the company incur these costs, the cost of having a trained facilitator available? Another reason is decision rooms require specific software support for different cooperative tasks. And so economy of scale is not possible. Decision rooms, they often need software tools to support various cooperative tasks. So those tasks are very different. Could be data analysis, it could be brainstorming, and so customizing and integrating a software, those tasks in the software can be complex and again costly. Another reason is infrequent use. So those rooms, they might not be utilized frequently, especially in organizations where decision-making meetings do not occur very often. And so this underutilization can make the investment in decision rooms less cost effective. Another reason is different place, different time needs. So decision rooms, they might be needed to support group decision making in different locations and at different times. Ensuring that the technology can accommodate these variable needs can be costly again, and also logistically challenging. Another reason, and that's the last one, is decision rooms. Companies might need more than only one decision room. So large organizations which have multiple departments or multiple teams may find it necessary to have multiple decision rooms to meet the specific needs of different groups. And again, this can be costly, and there's also maintenance involved. So it's another reason why very few organizations use decision rooms. That's it for week 11 video recorded lecture. I really hope you enjoyed this recorded video lecture. I hope you enjoyed the activities, the videos, the YouTube videos, and I also hope you have gained more knowledge, or you have updated your understanding of some of the concepts. And yeah, thank you for tagging along, and I will see you in week 12 video recorded lecture. Bye for now.